great segue into our next topic, which is cancel culture.
Oh, damn.
And, it is basically just running rampant.
Oh,
And the
damn.
reason that that was a good segue is because there have been, mention about whether, based on that, lyric that Meek Mill had and, some previous things that's happened, should Meek Mill be canceled and etc. So I don't typically do this, but I'm going to start this one off because I think, I think where I want to go with this, I'm kind of in between and torn, and I'm actually going to look forward to hearing you all's opinions as well. And similarly to what happened on that first subject, where you guys made some great points about the police officer from Tampa. But so our specific question for cancel culture is it ever warranted? And if so, has it gone too far? So I struggled with this one, fellas. I think I spent the most time preparing my thoughts on this subject because do I think there are incidents in which someone's celebrity, right? Like, and we're talking about celebrities here because they're mostly the people that are being canceled, right? People aren't walking around canceling other people, and if they are, no one cares, right?
That's
But
true.
do I think there are incidents in which some celebrity behavior is so abhorrent that we need to highlight it and address it because it is harming others? Absolutely. But do we need to cancel Pepe Le fucking Pew? No, that's just ridiculous.
We need to save my homie. That's what we need to do. We need to save my homie.
So it's like, to answer the question specifically, it's like, no, canceling someone, in my opinion, is not warranted, but bringing justice to injustice is. And so what that means is if someone wants to say it's cancel culture, and I'm throwing up my quotation marks you can't see, right, is going to do something like bring attention to fuckers like Jeffrey Epstein and the R. Kellys of the world and etc., then yeah, let's expose these people. They need to be exposed. They're harming others. Injustice has occurred. Bring justice to the victims. But this crusade to change the past completely is ridiculous. The entire point of being human beings is that we evolve. We should be looking at the past as guidance of how not to behave in the future, not trying to change or eradicate it. We can't change what has happened in the past, whether it's movies that were inappropriate, songs that were inappropriate, etc. If that's the case, we have to get rid of every fucking song that was written
right.
in certain eras. Like it's
all way.
ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. So I'm kind of torn between when it stops being about justice and it becomes cancel culture, because I'm not for cancel culture. We're human beings. People make mistakes. As long as people have learned from their mistakes and have changed their behavior, they deserve to have a second chance. And I'm torn between fucking injustice where victims need to, receive the justice that is due to them. So, yeah. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and shoot this over to PAT. What say you, sir?
Well, you made some great points. You definitely made some great points, especially with the justice one. We should always seek justice. We should always fight injustice. So if cancel culture is going to be a way of trying to enact justice, absolutely, let's do it. But what I will say about cancel culture, or really it might even just be a question, is it really even a real movement, or is it just one of those trendy online moments? Now the only issue I have with it is it seems to be some kind of form of censorship. To me, it could be yet another way to really just shame and silence anyone or anything that isn't politically correct.
Mm-hmm.
And it just seems like people are finding things to be offended about. I mean, you already mentioned Pepe Le Pew. I mean, really, we're canceling that. I mean,
and he say my homie.
But yeah, like I said, it just seems like people are finding things to be offended about. And I understand that there are things in this world and certain ideas and narratives out there that are problematic and need to be corrected. But it also becomes a question of, where do we draw the line? Like, where is the line drawn? I mean, from what I've seen so far, a lot of the recent cancellations were of celebrities who engaged in some type of cultural appropriation, being a culture vulture, or some type of racism. Some were canceled for their harsh treatment of their employees. This was actually something that Ellen DeGeneres was canceled for. I don't know if any of you knew that or anybody else knew, but Ellen.
I knew that.
Yeah.
But I also know a little bit more behind that story also too.
Yeah, so when I looked it up, I saw Ellen popped up. I was like, oh, Ellen, like I thought everybody liked her, but I mean, some of us don't, but I thought most people, took well to her. So she was canceled, and it was said that some of her employees came out and said that she isn't who she portrays herself to be on camera. And basically the work environment behind the camera is toxic. So she was canceled. Another person we always hear about getting canceled is Kanye West. I don't know how many times I've heard about this dude being canceled.
Right. I can leave Kanye alone. That's what they need to do. Leave him alone.
It just seems like
a mad genius.
Yeah, as soon as he even opens his mouth with some type of contrary idea or statement, he gets canceled.
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't agree with it. I think it's a little too much. I get that, he says some stupid shit sometimes, but I mean, come on, how many times are we going to cancel this guy? Now, I'm not saying that
they're bored.
Yeah, they're bored pretty much, but I'm not saying that people shouldn't be entitled to how they feel and that they shouldn't cancel whoever they want to cancel. What I will say is that I just think it's corny that it became some type of movement. Because really, before cancel culture was even a thing, people always actually cancel people in the real world. It's simple. You just stop supporting whoever or whatever you think is problematic.
Right.
Once enough individuals cancel whoever they want to cancel on their own, then that person or persons will be canceled, and they'll fall off eventually if enough people cancel them. There doesn't have to be this little trendy online, it doesn't have to be this whole thing. So just to end off my point, at the end of the day, everything isn't so black and white. There's a lot of gray area, and everyone's not going to be offended by the same things.
Right.
Everybody's just not going to be offended by it. So it just goes back to my point of where do we draw the line? Where is that line drawn?
Absolutely. All right, good stuff, sir. E-Man, what say you?
So this whole cancel BS joke on mockery, I can keep, having many names if I choose to, but the shit is a bunch of baloney, and I'm gonna keep it. I can go much raw than that, but I'm gonna keep it very clean and simple. Not just because, I can get nasty and get really gritty on this subject, but the shit is a joke and whatnot, And the reason why I'm saying it's a joke, like, you guys are canceling shit that makes no sense to be canceled, There's more shit that goes on in the world that they're not even canceling, nor they're talking about. So you try to sit here to hide the truth. Like you guys are sitting here canceling Pepe Le Pew, a cartoon character that was made, I think, in the like 40s and whatnot, 40s, and he is slightly portraying a thirsty type of dude, but here comes the thing: when you look at the cartoon, the one that he's being thirsty on is a cat. I don't think cats like skunks. I think cats like cats. I don't think they like skunks because skunks are, they smell, but it's supposed to be funny, nobody wants to smile and laugh because it doesn't seem humor to them. See, the thing, and when you look even like at comedians also too, their job is to be funny. That's their job. That is the occupation of, what they're choosing to do. So when they say stuff, it's supposed to be funny, but now everyone's like, oh my gosh, no, you did not just say that, we all sounding like, I don't want to use this word, but many have said it, like everyone sounding like a bunch of, like crybabies, like literally crybabies, and it's very sick, that they can't, like, nobody has canceled, I think I think they might cancel the Power Rangers because the basic, me and PAT had a conversation about this earlier throughout, the week because,
I'm gonna be pissed.
How each Ranger, based upon their color, is close to almost that same dynamic, why is the Yellow Ranger like Asian and whatnot, but then when they redid the cast, she's a young Black woman who's playing as Yellow Ranger. The Black Ranger was Black, but then they switched it up to a Latin Hispanic guy and whatnot, So, like, it just needs to stop. Like, no one's controlling this. I don't know how this is a movement. It shouldn't even be a movement, I don't know how it's a movement. I feel like it's just people in their feelings. They need something to do. They'd be like, yo, we're going to cancel this. We're going to cancel that. Like, here's one thing, does anybody know what Nebula means and whatnot? So Nebula is the North American Men and Boys Love Association. This is an organization that's been an organization since 1979. This organization, all right, is deeming that, that men and boys, all right, should be lovers. We're not talking about, like we're talking about almost like pedophile stuff right here. Nobody wants to cancel that, but we're canceling cartoon shows that are scripted, for entertainment, Like we have serious issues that are going out here that people have coined to create organizations from, but nobody wants to cancel that. Nobody wants to stop that. So that proves to tell me that this whole canceling stuff is just a big joke. And it just makes me sick to my stomach. Like it's just very silly. Like it's all these picking and choosing, this and that. Oh, that's what I feel like this is about. But there's real issues out there that need to be canceled, No one's canceling, Cardi B for the stuff that she does or Megan Thee Stallion. I don't think they're bad people. They are performers, so they're performing, but what they're portraying is really sick and destructive behavior for young girls and women all around the world. But nobody wants to cancel them.
That's sticky. That's a sticky one, sir, because a lot of people can argue that rappers have been portraying destructive behaviors to young boys for years and they haven't been canceled. I mean, I think that one is sticky because we're talking about hip hop particularly, where to a certain extent, a lot of artists are trying to portray their actual experiences versus, how far you should take, again, canceling something like Pepe Le Pew versus canceling someone like Jeffrey Epstein. I think that's a little sticky because, you know, Megan and Cardi, particularly these two women that you mentioned now, there was a story where Cardi drugged some dudes and robbed them. Obviously, that is unacceptable. But Cardi has since said that she would not do it again. It was in her younger, wilder days, and she doesn't condone it. And you have rappers all the time who are like, I'm not going to apologize for my life. My life was my life. I did what I did so that it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that particular aspect is interesting, and I get your point, but it's a little sticky.
It's always going to be sticky.
Yeah, it's
because,
definitely sticky.
It will always be sticky because of the individual. You know, there's certain people that won't apologize. You know, because I don't tell people never apologize on your actions. There's a simple fact that, you know, you chose to do that at that moment. You know, you made that decision. But here comes the thing: that decision you made does not hurt me. You know, it hurts you. You know, because you did it, and you have to take the backlash behind it. You know, and that's why the issue, while that will always be sticky, because if we keep picking and choosing different names, and then we start putting it into the conversation, I think what's going to happen is, you know, no one's not going to speak up on it. You know, and I'm not just saying because, you know, I chose Cardi B and like Megan Thee Stallion. Those are the only two names that came up to mind because those are the people who I know. Because I don't listen to their music. You know, I'm not a fan. Just to put it out there for everyone, like most of the people that I do talk to, like that I say stuff about, sometimes I am not a fan of them. You know, not to disrespect anybody, but I'm not a fan. You know, of them. You know, and because certain fans might get, you know, little, you know, lose their mind and everything like that. That's fine. That's cool. But I'm not a fan. You know, but I totally, you know, understand what you guys are definitely coming from, you know, about that. And I feel, you know, even if I said another name, you know, it wouldn't change. But, you know, has anybody actually canceled like Jerry Epstein and whatnot? Because since Jerry's, you know, stories came out, like I haven't heard anything new.
He's actually dead, according to the last that I heard. He committed suicide in jail. But yeah, Jeffrey Epstein was 100% canceled, to say the least.
He was definitely canceled,
facing charges.
Yeah, he was canceled, and yeah, he's dead. So
yeah, he not only was he, I mean, they've done documentaries about him and everything, but they brought him up on a number of charges. They arrested him and his girlfriend of 20 years because some of the victims, you know, had very explicit and vivid details of the way that she participated. And then, you know, not to dive into this subject too far off of what we're discussing now, but, you know, there was even discussion of him having evidence of very prominent figures involvement in this whole sex trafficking thing with his story. Like, there are some that say that there was like this list he kept of celebrities who went to this island where he had these young girls waiting, and, you know, who were engaging in sex with these minors, knowing that they were minors. So yeah, his went about as far as it could go.
I mean, I actually seen that list though.
So yeah, but okay, I think that was a very good convo that we had there on that subject, fellas.